some of your names do not show up when you enter in your information. So if you could actually type in your name and let us know if you're here, that would be awesome. I'm Gita Zugelder, and I'm in Wisconsin. Some of you guys might have heard me share that I forgot my socks. When you leave from 90-degree weather and go to 40-degree weather, there are some essentials, which includes socks. So I had to buy some today. And so Tracy, you guys want to introduce everybody that's in the room at DSC? You have a great crowd there.
Sure. This is Tracy Arrowsmith. I'll just have people introduce themselves.
Okay.
Yep.
Christine Venturis. Taylor Britt.
Samantha Johnson.
Megan Green.
Lainey Johnson.
And so we have our whole crew ready to talk with you guys. Just so you know, if you do want to enter the chat box, if you look at the top bar, you should have a little bar with green buttons. The second button to the left has a little speech bubble. I couldn't remember the name of it. If you guys want to click that, it'll pop up the box that you can see the chats going on. And then Tracy, I know there's something we don't want to touch. Do you want to let everybody know?
Yeah, if you could avoid hitting the plus button and requesting control, then that would be lovely.
And so we're going to do a team effort today around social media. It's going to be a 101. So some of you guys might already be doing these type things in your practice, and some of you guys may not. So we're going to ask for those that have to share their experiences. But today we're going to talk about the DSC mission around social media. We're going to discuss our voice through Facebook and Twitter, and also have some tips and supports for use. And then, of course, as always, we'll just do some updates and just some housekeeping, and also address any questions that you guys might have. I'm just astonished that it's October 22nd. I feel like this school year is flying by. I was just talking to a colleague the other day that I said we would touch base at the beginning of the year, and it's mid-October, and I can't believe it. So I know that we've been running and we've been busy, and so we appreciate all the work that you guys have been doing. And Tracy, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide.
Yeah, Lainey's actually going to be driving. Here she goes.
Excellent. Thank you, Lainey. So what I'd love for you guys to do is just take a minute, reflect on these two questions, and if you can start adding in the chat box your thoughts around in what ways has you used social media to support your work, and in what ways has social media provided opportunities for you to learn. And just add some thoughts into the chat box. We'll give you a minute or two to think. It is baby steps, Kathy. We're all learning. Me too. Somebody shared that it's introduced them to resources so they can learn from others. Others are sharing that they read and also write themselves, and they can encourage each other. I always get excited when I see you guys commenting on each other, not only through social media, but also our blogs. It is a great way to notice interest, also educational trends. Who said Twitter's all a mystery? I love it. We're gonna demystify it today. If you guys could put your names after your comments or even your initials, that'd be awesome. How about you guys in the DSC hub there? Anybody want to share ways that they've used social media to extend their work as an educator?
Yeah, I use it to see what's trending, like on Twitter, and what people are talking about, what's important, what floats to the top. I use Facebook a little less so in that manner, but Twitter's great for that.
Yeah, and I really do find it's great to look back at all of our posts on Facebook and see what's really resonating with educators, see where people have questions, or see what really sparks a debate. So that's helpful to know what the hot buttons are and what really resonates, so we know what language to use.
Definitely, and I totally agree. And I think one thing that you mentioned, Tracy, resonates with me. We didn't necessarily put this as part of the webinar, but something to think about if you are venturing into several different social media venues is deciding how you want that to be. Do you want it to be your personal conversation or your public conversation? I know once in a while on Twitter I'll apologize and I'll just say, I'm sorry, the Emmys were on, excuse the next couple of hours. So I think that it's a great communicator and a really interesting way for us to open and learn from each other. And then Sally mentioned the extension of even us moving into the network of having the Learning Hub where we can go and have all of our resources there. And I know I was just talking to our IT director, Nazar, and we are even hoping that at the Hub in the next coming years that we'll be able to do some dialoguing there too. Having some sort of news feed or streaming conversation. So that's exciting for us as we lead through really becoming a community of educators, which is global. A couple of interesting things we had happen lately on social media. On Facebook, we actually had somebody email us through the SIPS page asking for PD. How do we get access to PD? And so it was the way that they knew how to connect to us. And then on Twitter, I just recently had a teacher who read one of my blogs find me on Twitter so that she could continue the conversation. And so it's just a great way for us to extend our community. Maybe if you can go on to the next piece.
Delay, hang on.
Might have to click back in, make sure that it's live, and then, there you go.
There we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay. And I think you were going to chat about this.
Absolutely. So what I wanted to just share with you today is a little bit about how we've been using social media and how we've been putting out the message through these various channels. So what I've been focused on for the social media channels is to really hone in on that voice of the educator, to share DSC's mission and our content knowledge, the educational materials and the thoughts and the research behind it. And also to really establish a presence in the online community. The beauty of online social media is that you can look as big or as small as you want to. And so we're trying to appear as thought leaders. We're trying to make ourselves look bigger than we really are and build up through Facebook and Twitter and blogs the DSC community of teachers and the DSC community of thought leaders. In the future, we're looking towards expanding with Pinterest and LinkedIn, and we're going to do a full refresh of our Google Plus page. But at the moment, we're really focused in on Facebook and Twitter and our blogs and building out the Collaborative Classroom, which is another Facebook and blog page that we've got working. So
Thank you, Lainey. Tracy, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, Lainey hit all the high points on that. Yeah, we're looking forward to refreshing some of our other channels that have been neglected. But we're trying to have a presence in all the places that educators might be lurking.
Well, I appreciate the phrase you use, voice of the educator, and really being thought leaders and how we can drive the conversation. I think about the Common Core. I think about my work previously with Reading First, and the reasons why I've always strived to be understanding the common trends is that we want to be the voice and help people decipher the common educational trends that they're struggling with. And so one way we can be bigger and touch more classrooms than maybe we're able to touch right now with our programs or our PD is through social media. So if you want to take us to the next slide. Apparently you guys in the office are not as loud as I am, but I don't think that that's anything we're not used to. But if you guys, when you're in the office, maybe move the phone closer to you or speak a little bit louder.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean in a little bit, but try to match you note.
Oh, there we go. Well, we're going to start off with Facebook. And first of all, as we know, Facebook is one of the premier social media venues. I know that some of you choose not to be on Facebook, and that's okay. And some of you choose to use Facebook in different ways. I kind of split my Facebook between education and family. But one of the things that I think is really important is to make decisions on what you want your venue to look like, how you want Facebook to represent you, if as maybe a family member or as an educator, or maybe you don't even want it to be part of your work life, and that's okay too. We post content daily. DSC has new content daily. Mostly through the developmental studies page, but we have additional pages that we do post information on. Those pages were sent to you guys during the Getting Started newsletter that Samantha shared with you guys in August, and they had all of those pages listed for you. I learned a new word when I was creating this PowerPoint with Tracy and Lainey about memes, and apparently these are very shareable, and also people love to share them. And so, Lainey, can you define what a meme is for us?
I can do you one better than that. We actually pulled up all these pages so people could take a look at them. My fingers will just function. So here's the main DSC page. This adorable little girl here is one of our memes. And just to further illustrate, we do have content every day, as Gina said. There's blogs, there's quotes. And if you scroll down here, this one little girl with her on the meme got 73 likes and 37 shares. So the memes are incredibly effective for spreading the word, getting people engaged, and just generally providing content that people love to engage with. So I strongly encourage you, if you're not ready to put a lot of thought into it, if you're nervous, if you're new, this is a simple no-brainer. You can just absolutely come here every day. We post at 9 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week. Just come here in the morning and find what's there and share it. It's a easy way to do it.
And that's 9 o'clock Pacific time, correct?
Yes, 9 o'clock Pacific.
And while we're here, let's just show them how that's okay.
Sorry.
We can go back. We'll go back there. Oh, there we go. So when you're there, if everybody can see the meme that's right there, that's a good question. What's the difference between a meme and a post? The meme is actually the label given to that picture. So if you guys see the picture with the girl and the quote, that's considered a meme. A post would be, if you look on the left-hand side where it has the John Dewey quote, that's a post where Lainey or somebody typed in that information. And so, Lainey, are we posting how many memes a week?
I just started posting 2 a week. We were posting the memes only on Wednesday, and then we got this little rocket of engagement on a Saturday when I posted a meme. And so now I'm committed to posting them on Wednesdays and once on the weekend, and I'm going to play with Saturday and Sunday just to see if there's one that gets better traction. But you should see one Wednesday at noon and one over the weekend.
Let us know if you need more clarification, but thank you for that question. So if you look at the meme, if you can just hone in right under the picture, there's the word like, comment, and share. And so there's 2 easy things that you can do. You can easily click like, which will like the meme on the developmental studies page, and you can also easily click share. And so sharing is a great way for you to post that on your own Facebook page. So when you click share, if you can just click it, Lainey, and we won't post it, so we can at least look at what it says. You can click share, and then you can go down to share photo, which is at the bottom right, and just click share photo, and it'll go right onto your Facebook page. It's that easy. All right, we can go back to we can cancel out. You don't have to repost, but thank you, Lainey.
Yep. Something else I'll just add, if you are interested in building content like this, something that was started here a long time ago that I continue to build on is we have a Google Doc where we capture all of these quotes and we list them in the order that they've been posted. So if you have favorite bloggers or favorite websites or books, quotes, whatever you think might resonate, if you just start capturing that in a Google Doc over time, it really does build up quite quickly, and then you can repost some of that content later because there's always new people coming to your page. Facebook trickles it out at different times of the day, so it's not the end of the world if you post the same thing twice in a month. So it's just a way to make it easy on yourself rather than having to do this big search every time you want to post something. Just start building a treasure trove of content that you can go back to again and again. Good. Did we lose you, Gina?
Yep, sorry, I was talking with it muted. Let's go back to the PowerPoint for a second, and then before we do some more work in Facebook. So we talked about memes. Again, a meme is the visual, so it's the actual picture of the child with the quote. Thinking about your voice, and one of the things that we strive to do is to speak directly to classroom teachers. So speaking to them, maybe posing a question, posing a struggle, sharing something you learn, because that's the kind of conversations that we want to have with the educational community. Don't hesitate to share the posts of others. Like we just showed you, you can easily just click the share button and you can see what others are posting, and if it interests you to share that. I know that I often do that. I'll share it with others, or I'll share it to the DSE Consultant Facebook page, and it's an easy way to get information but not have to look for information. Facebook for DSE is about the pedagogy. It's about the relationship and the classroom. We're not trying to have a sales pitch. We're not trying to push any kind of item at that time. And so thinking about that too, taking that pressure off, that being part of the educational community in social media, especially on Facebook, is having this ongoing dialogue of important topics and not necessarily feeling like it always has to relate back to all the work that we do at DSE. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it's just a common trend or a conversation that we're being involved in. Keep an eye on your page because we want to make sure that we respond to or like when others comment on our posts that we might make. I know that I had that happen recently where I didn't realize that somebody posted on a comment that on a post that I had, and so I had to come back and apologize, and then I connected with them. But you want to, one of the ways to keep this conversation going is to connect back with them. And so we're going to take you back to Facebook and show you a couple of more tricks of the trade. As we're doing that, if you can post any questions that you might have about Facebook, we can help you or try to navigate those during this time. So do we want to navigate from this Developmental Study Center page, you guys? Do you think that's the best thing?
I'm sorry. You wanted to look at what in addition to this? We have Twitter as well, and we have the YouTube page. Do you want to see how this connects up with the blogs, or?
No, not yet. I actually want to stay here for a minute. Can we show them how to post a post?
Sure. So when you're at the top of your page, sorry, that's all our administrative junk. You won't typically see all that. Right here, there's status, where you just want to do a simple post. And you just type right in, you just put your mouse here, and you can type whatever you want. Okay. I'm going to delete that because no one really needs to see, hey there everyone, but you can just type right in. You can also put in a photo or a video, and this is very similar to what you will see on your computer. If you ever wanted to add a file to something, you just click this upload photo video, and it'll take you to a place where you can browse for a file. And then offer an event. You could also create a full photo album if you want to get really into it. That's an option as well. And then we'll often post advertisements about events that we have coming up or conferences. So that's something else that if you need help with, we're happy to help you with that, and that way you get a little bit broader reach. Or if you want just something specific to your page, you can put something on this as well, depending on how engaged you are with Facebook and whether or not you've got it. Some of that stuff you have to pay for, but I would stick mostly with status and photo. That should cover just about everything that you need.
I agree, Lainey, and I was also thinking that if you really want to start as just a quick baby step is just sharing some of what others are saying. You know, even maybe every day or every couple of days coming to the DSC page, seeing if there's anything that piques your interest and press the share button. So that's probably the easiest thing to do just as you get started in the process.
Absolutely.
We would love to see photos of events that you guys are engaged in. I think that those are the ones that we so appreciate is seeing, thanks Anne, is seeing the faces of our colleagues out there doing the work. I know that one of the pictures we recently had was Pat Hanley, and she was releasing SIPs in Mexico. And so she took a picture of the whole Mexican teaching team, and they were all excited, and you can see it in their faces. So it was a really great opportunity to get a visual of colleagues that we don't normally get to see. The only thing that I would warn is that obviously with kids, we don't want to take pictures of kids because we would have to have permission around that. So that would be great.
And if you do, Anne, upload something, you can @tag Developmental Studies Center in the description, and then we'll get a little alert that you're talking about something DSC related.
Kathy, I think that you know, if you're posting something that relates to a photo, feel free to post with things that you think are valuable to the kind of conversations that are happening on your Facebook page.
Gina, I just want to mention too, as long as we're talking about all the social media, I want everyone to be aware there is also an after-school Developmental Studies Center page.
Yep, they have it on their list. So one of the things that we chose to do for this webinar is at the end, we'll direct you guys back to the Getting Started, and that was on the Getting Started list for the consultants.
Right.
So they should, and so we should have liked that. Jane, so what I just typed in that's a hashtag. It's a number sign. So you would just do #DSC. They've renamed the number sign to be hashtag.
And rebranded.
Because number sign was not fun enough. How about in the room there? I know we have some social media users in the room. Does anybody have anything that they want to share from their experiences with Facebook? The DSC room.
Well, since we're talking about hashtags, one benefit of the hashtag is that you can kind of sort by that. So if you click on that hashtag, you can get everything that has #DSC or whatever it is you're searching. So think of it sort of as like a search mechanism as well.
All right, so we will go back to our conversation PowerPoint, and we will keep moving forward. We're actually going to move away from Facebook and into Twitter. So I just wanted to give everybody a moment before we move away from Facebook, just to take a second, think about, do you have any lingering questions or wonderings? Post them in the chat box. So I don't see any wonderings or questioning, so I would like everybody to post. This is my Mountain Reba. I love it. So I would like everybody to post one action step that they're going to take in their Facebook life. Reba, you've already shared yours. You're going to tackle this mountain. Samantha, you too.
I was going to tackle it.
Just is.
I'm gonna use that hashtag.
Oh, Christine's gonna use a hashtag. Yay.
Yay, Christine. I'm rubbing off.
They talk about tweeting photos.
Portion of the meeting.
Oh, that's a great idea, Anne. Designate a certain time or day that you might spend on social media. Kathy King Dickman's going to share some photos.
And I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there are
Scheduling.
tools out there
Yeah.
that allow you to schedule things in advance, so you don't have to do things in real time. You could actually sit down, dedicate an hour, and schedule a whole bunch of stuff out, so that it trickles over time.
I'm just thinking back to the Facebook page so people can see that you can
Great.
add a year, and then once you pick the year, you can add a month and a date and an actual time. So you can schedule up ahead for weeks on end. I mean, obviously, if this has 2014, you can do a lot of scheduling.
That's awesome. Marnie, I know you're a good Facebooker, so you're waiting for the Twitter time. Jane's going to go to the DSC page. That's true, Samantha. Photos, sometimes you don't have to, sometimes it's hard to think of things witty or that you feel like people want to read.
Honestly, the more you can just appear human, you don't have, I'm serious, you don't have to sound like a rocket scientist. You don't have, no, I mean, like, you don't have to say anything particularly brilliant. It's more about connecting with someone, because everyone's had a rough day as a teacher, everyone's had a struggle. The more you just can connect with them, whether it's on some, like, great wow moment that you had that you're so proud of, or something that you finally conquered, or something that you're struggling with, people just want to make that human connection, and that's why we're trying really hard not to sell anything here. It's about being a person. It's not about, you know, hey, come buy our stuff. It's the people behind DSC.
Exactly. And it's just that voice of an educator. You know, what's that the collegial conversations we want to have. And so we are going to make our switch to talking about Twitter. I know that not as many people are on Twitter as are on Facebook. I've become a big Twitter fan over the last couple of years because I actually think it's an easier and more efficient way to be part of the educational community than any other social media network. Twitter is becoming a major force in the conversations that are happening around education. And so get an account if you don't have one, and just start stalking. You don't have to do any work, but just start stalking. What do you notice? What do you see? Who can you read about? One of the ways to do that is to look at trends and chats that are happening. We'll show you how to do that in just a second. I know that one of the things that I do is I look at trends to see what kind of conversations are happening. One of the things that I got so excited about recently is that by looking at the trends is I found out that there was a chat that happens weekly around standard-based grading. And it's been so exciting when I do get to attend that because of the conversations that people are having on that topic. Find educators to follow that pique your interest. You know, who are educators that you want to get to know more about? Maybe they're ones that you've read a lot about or that you totally advocate for everything that they say. Maybe they're ones that you might disagree with. But it's a great way just to hear what conversations are happening out there. I know that I not only follow educators that I appreciate and ones that I might not always appreciate, but I also look at who they follow because it's a good way to extend your network beyond that. Don't hesitate to retweet, and we'll show you what that means. But basically, retweeting means you're taking what somebody said and sending it back out there. And other thing is consider what you can say in 140 characters. That's all you got. So it's short and it's simple, but within 140 characters, you can connect to a lot of colleagues. I'm going to go to the next slide. Go ahead.
Retweeting is sort of like sharing on Facebook. Those are the equivalents.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll do this next slide and then we'll show everything. So does that sound good, you guys?
Yeah.
So tweet is your message. You have 140 characters to say something. It's the @ sign, and Jane, we like to use our symbols in different ways on Twitter. So the @ sign is a way of referring to another user. So as an example, my username is @GZugelder. And so it's a way to refer to another user. Hashtag, like we just talked about, is a way to sort the tweet. And so if we put hashtag DSE on a tweet, I can sort it and I can look for all of the posts that are around DSE. Retweet is a way to reshare somebody else's tweet. And follow are the users that you follow on Twitter. And so we're going to take you to Twitter and give you a chance to experience some of it. While Lainey's doing that, if you are a Twitter user, if you can share in the chat box for your other colleagues, in what ways has Twitter helped supported your work? All right, so the first thing is, sorry, I was trying to read the screen. Do you want to do a tweet first?
Sure, I just figured we would go around and have people oriented to the page here.
That'd be great. Let's start there. Again, we have a Developmental Studies Center page, so it's a great way to get connected back to us.
And you'll see here the DSC way. There's that @ handle that Gina was speaking to. Here is where it's sort of your scoreboard, if you will, how many tweets you have, who's following, followers. And then here's the running, just like we had on Facebook, the running list of all the posts on Facebook. It's tweets on Twitter. And then as you get started and you start to build people that you're following, you'll see this who to follow. And so sometimes, I mean, initially it starts out with a lot of ads, but you will get people that actually are relevant to you and start to make some sense. So keep an eye on that.
Just like Fiverr One.
Just like Fiverr One, yeah.
There
are still people. Well, you'll notice that says promoted, right? So
Yeah.
Someone is paying to get your attention. But some of these are actual legitimate. They think you might actually like the person and might have something connected to you.
I think that's a good point. If they ever see that symbol with promoted next to it, it does mean somebody's paying for that to be highlighted on your page.
Yep.
You'll see that in Facebook as well.
Yeah. And Facebook, you can hide it. You can, there are things you can, but let's stay high level for now. And then, so there's navigation here. Another way to look at things. This is sort of more categorical numbers, and this is more navigation up here in the top left. And then we spoke about trends earlier. So here's something that's really fun to watch, and it's a great way to this is one of the ways I really like to use Twitter. I'm more of a stalker than a pusher of content. But this is I sort of equate it to a ticker system in that you can keep an eye on the news that's flowing, what's trending, for example, and what people are talking about. You will see a lot of the same folks in here. There's a lot of stuff that's related to sports. There's a lot of these promoted things. For a while you couldn't get away from the Kardashians. It just kind of depends on who's got the media attention. But there's also stuff that is tied to your page here as well that you can find.
And it also tracks your trends. So, like for me, because I've been going to and using the trend site to go to chats, now I start to see more chats popping up in my trend section.
Yeah.
For educational chats, I mean.
Yeah, it really is one of those tools where the more you use it, I mean, I hate to say it, but it is collecting data on you, but it's meant to be used to customize your page to be more relevant to you. So they are watching you, but they're trying to provide you with something that would be of interest to you. Are there any questions? Do we want to take a moment, Gina, to allow people to put stuff in the chat?
Yeah, let's do that. What questions do you have? And once you do that, we'll show you how to post and how to retweet. I know that I have about 2 camps of colleagues on Facebook. The ones that are just stalking others, and then the ones that are really using it to have collegial conversations. So you can decide which you want to be. You should actually see a feed just like this, Kathy, of people you're following or any conversations that you might be having. So one of the things that I like about Twitter, so if you notice, this is the feed for the DSD Twitter, and so these are all the people that DSD is following. And so one of the things that I like is, let's say today I got off a plane, I'll quickly go on Twitter, I'll flip through the people I'm following just to see, did anything happen today? Did anything happen in those 2 hours I was on the plane? So it's a good way to get quick information is to skim through your news feed. So do we want to show Lainey how to post a post? We don't have to really do one, but we can pretend. So you see
we were just thing to share, but
why don't you search for Peter? We can retweet something Peter did.
Oh, there you go.
PD.
There we go. PD Brent. He retweeted me yesterday. I felt very fancy.
So the Gina is at the top there.
Very nice.
Very nice collegiality.
So once you hover over a tweet, you can see you have these options that pop up to reply and to retweet, mark as a favorite.
And more.
And more. But wait, there's more. You want to get really techie.
So the share via email is useful if you want to, remind yourself to look something up or share it with a colleague and they don't have Twitter or something like that.
Mhm.
And on your phone, you get one of the options in the more is share via text. And I know I've done that before, share a link or an article with somebody via text too, but that's only on your phone.
Yeah.
And that report is if you find something offensive or not appropriate.
Don't report me though.
Don't report Ina.
No, I'm not going to report you. Not for that anyway.
So we can, just hit, just retweet that.
Okay.
So you can see they clicked retweet. And then we're just going to click retweet again. It's that simple. It's kind of like the share option that you have on Facebook. So you can go in, find something that really resonates with you, hit retweet, and it'll retweet it on your page.
You can see Fiber One wants Peter's attention as well.
Fiber One is very popular.
All right.
So there's our retweet, the second one down.
Yep. Boom.
And you can tell you retweeted it by the upper right hand corner. There's a green arrow down.
Yep.
And then the little green retweet is highlighted here. So.
Yep.
I feel like there are a lot of tools on Twitter. I think it's a lot more user-friendly from the standpoint of trying to find things you're interested in, whereas Facebook, it's more about your friends and your community. Twitter is much more in tune with what's going on in the community, what are people talking about, what's new and what's happening, and it's really very much real time. There are definitely conversations, as Gina mentioned, that happen routinely. A lot of people have live chats, certain times a week. So look for those things, but you can use this search box. You can use the Discover. There's a lot of ways to search for trends and search for people to follow.
So if you can go back, somebody asked me to translate. So what I did was I tried to use my 140 characters wisely in this tweet. And so it actually I retweeted somebody's blog, Larry Ferlazzo's blog, which it says Larry Ferlazzo tackles the question of developing. It should be I obviously made a typo without my glasses. The desire to read, along with he took 2 educators, and that's the 2 educators' voices in that blog. And that's the link to the blog. And so what I did was try to that blog resonated with me, and so I shared it back out with others. And because I only had 140 characters, I had to condense my words or shorten it. That's why you see some shortening or innovative spelling on Twitter. Cassie King Dickman's asking, if you tweet or retweet something, does it go out to others? It goes out to anybody that's following you. So any of your followers would see what you sent out.
And Gina, I'm actually really glad that you pointed out the links that you have here. Something that I neglected to mention in Facebook, but applies to both Facebook and Twitter, is that you absolutely want to give people credit if you're posting their content, if you're quoting somebody, and you want to circle back to them. It's good for the community. It's good for your searchability. Anytime you can create these links where you're referencing a person, you're referencing a blog or a website, you absolutely want to do that. That's best practice, both from a fairness and credibility standpoint, and just from the searchability standpoint.
Right, and I found this blog actually from Twitter. I follow Larry. I found the blog from his feed, and then when I went to Ed Week and read it, there was a link at the bottom that said share on Twitter. I just pressed it, and it shared on Twitter for me. Do you want to just quickly show how to write a blog, a tweet? If you go to that compose box. So if you saw the compose box at the top right-hand corner, and you would just type in your tweet, whatever you wanted to say, it tells you when you're getting you're using up your characters. It gives you negatives about that, and then you just hit tweet.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, I can't type.
That's a really good question, Ginger, is that you can use Twitter, and I personally just use the Twitter app. Some people use other apps to organize their tweets or who they follow. So an example would be TweetDeck is a good way to follow any hashtags that you might be really interested in. I haven't gotten that fancy yet. I know my colleagues, like in Franklin, where I am right now, they use TweetDeck because you can easily follow hashtags, but using the Twitter app is just fine.
Yeah, here in the office, we use Hootsuite.
Yeah.
It's a paid service, but then it allows us to be able to post across channels. We can track things. I can even post to my Facebook pages, so it's just a big organizational tool.
Right, so we're going to transition back to the PowerPoint, and while we do, if you can jot down any questions you might have in the chat box.
I think Samantha said something about sharing photos, so where Lainey was, that's where you can upload a photo.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. It's the same box with the little pen, the blue icon, and this is where you can grab a photo. It's, again, the same format as if you were to attach a file to an email or something like that.
That little symbol next to the camera is if you want to say where you are.
Yeah.
So on your phone, it would say, Oakland, California, or Developmental Study Center specifically. So you can either turn that on or off.
Okay.
But that does use up part of your 140 characters if you tag your location, because they'll put a little slug in there for you. But you can edit it too. You can delete it or whatever.
All right. So back to the PowerPoint.
Yeah, exactly. Kathy, that's exactly what it is. It's a great way to share and find ideas and articles, and that's what I do. I find that's one of my easiest ways to find articles now is through Twitter, because it's faster sometimes than to look at various websites. You can just see it all on your feed. And we can go to the next slide. And we'll obviously send this out to you guys in a more easy to read format, but these are the colleagues that we know that are on Twitter. If you have any other colleagues, or if you're on Twitter and we don't have your address, let us know and we'll add it to the list so we can continue to share with each other. And we'll send this out, so you no need to copy it down right now. And we'll go on to the next slide. So just a couple of other things to note is that, and Lainey will share about this in just a second, but we have another website that we're using, the Collaborative Classroom, as a way to have more engaged conversations. And then two places that we've been thinking about how we can expand our voice is Google Plus and LinkedIn. But one of the things that I really appreciate about our blogs is that our blogs on our website have the buttons to directly share to those other sites. And so if you're fancy and you've been really delving into social media and you start expanding out, just think about how you might use your voice in different ways on these different social media sites. I am finding ways to use Pinterest. Instagram, I've been a little hesitant because it seems so picture-based. LinkedIn is an easy way to share with educators, and I'm still trying to figure Google Plus out because I don't really understand Google Plus, but it's just a way for us to dip our toe in different venues. But I know, Lainey, you wanted to share about the Collaborative Classroom.
Yeah, I was going to take folks there. We're in a bit of a transfer right now. It was, if you're familiar with the Engaged Educator, we had that initially, and now we're sort of giving it a bit of a facelift and talking about it in a different way. We're just repositioning it, if you were. So we're switching it over to the Collaborative Classroom. There's some design changes going on right now, and we're also just trying to build the content there. So while I invite you to go there and check it out, it's not nearly as robust as the current DSC blog pages or the Facebook and Twitter feeds that we have going on. But it was known as Engaged Educator, and now it's the Collaborative Classroom, and so we are slowly building that out, trying to get more people to subscribe to that and get more content there. So that's a to be to be watched, I guess, is what we want to say. And then, is it okay for me to go to YouTube, or do you want to talk some more about these other pieces?
No, I definitely was. You can definitely go to YouTube, and then I was wondering if we could go quickly to the DSD site so we can show them how to really post.
Sure.
I'm just going to tag on to what Gina said about Google Plus. I mean, I think that she's right in there with everybody else. There's no real big trend in the Google Plus world, but we obviously have to have a presence there. So I think a lot of people don't really get it.
It's not taken off the way people thought and the way Google hoped it would.
Yeah.
But it's the whole idea is, when you're marketing, you have to be where people are looking for you, and you want to be where your audience is. So it's more about being found. So rather than stretch yourselves thin as you're starting to find your way here, if you are new to social media, I would advise you to just focus on one or two and just make those quality. It's much better to have consistent content and a lot of content in one place than very little content spread across 5 or 6 channels.
Very true.
All right. So this is our lovely little DSC Way YouTube page with adorable little faces. We have a number of playlists here, and YouTube has changed their format a little bit, so even Tracy and I were struggling to find our way around because they're always trying to make you guess and wonder where the heck your stuff is, so it's not as friendly as it could be or should be. So I just clicked on videos here, and it took us to all of these other video pages, and in this incredibly intuitive box, Uploads, if you were to click that, then you can find our playlists. That might be something worth writing down because I don't think it's noted in the PowerPoint, and it's, as I mentioned, incredibly not intuitive.
Yes, Lainey and I lost it again and had to re-find it. So
yeah, but these are really helpful if you are having a specific conversation, or if you want. Oh, sorry, it just went away. If you're having a specific conversation with somebody, you want to reference a video, you want to give them options as to what they can look for, a resource, the playlists are really a great place to send somebody.
So yeah, each of those blue descriptions are an individual playlist. You'll notice that we don't have making meaning, so there's...
Oh, sorry,
That's right.
Keith's very sensitive mouse pad, sorry everyone.
I was trying to see, our playlists I don't think are, I was going to say they weren't program specific, but I'm going to correct myself and that's not really true.
Yeah. So anyway, there are a lot of videos here. There's a lot of content to be shared. It's an easy thing to share out and provide content for if you're trying to focus on a particular topic or reach out to teachers. And frankly, the kids are just adorable. So that's one of my favorite things is some of the ways that this show, you can, instead of talk about the product, you can show the product and show the changes that we're striving for.
So Gina's asking if I can provide a playlist to share. If you click on the blue description,
sorry, my fingers are...
okay, and then you just copy it. Every time you hit the share button, it'll automatically be highlighted. This is the link to the entire playlist, not to the individual video. So this will give you the playlist for this.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hmm?
And can we quickly go to the DSE website?
Yep.
I just want to show you guys one more really cool thing. And so if you know on our website that our DSE Way blogs are right there, and Lainey, you just click on whatever blog you might want to.
Give Sue some love, shall we?
Of course. And if you scroll that down, so I love this because this makes it so easy to share. So you can quickly press tweet if you want to share on Twitter, like if you want to share on Facebook, the G if you want to share on Google+, or the IN if you want to share on LinkedIn. And so you click those buttons, and you want to click one of those?
Sorry, yeah, I kind of just did accidentally.
And so if we click there, it comes right up, and you can easily tweet it. And I think that's just an easy way to get used to sharing the conversation on either Facebook or Twitter. So you can go back to the PowerPoint.
Sure.
And we know we have about 7 minutes, so trust us, we are wrapping up, you guys. So Robin, I'm going to actually let Tracy answer that in the chat box because that might be because of the email address. It doesn't automatically cite Sue as the source, but it does cite DSE. Now, sometimes when that box comes up again that you just saw, I'll go in and type something additional. You still have additional characters that you could use, and I'll say my colleagues do, or I'll add to that conversation and extend that out before I post it. So you can do that.
Yeah, and if you know that they're on Twitter, if you can, mark them, that would be great as well.
Now, not all of our colleagues are active on Twitter, and so that's why I didn't share with them yet their Twitter names, because I want to make sure that they want to use those for educational purposes.
Right.
And Lainey, if you can go to the next slide, we just have a couple of things. Lainey taught me a new word, consider the attribution, and basically attribution means give credit where credit is due, which actually relates directly to what Ann said, is be sure the link works. So if you're going to include a link, make sure that it works. If you do use our website, like you just saw, Lainey press the tweet button, that link will work because it's being generated from our website. Make sure you read an entire item before you post it. We've all been in interesting predicaments where we thought the tagline was so interesting that we wanted to share whatever, a blog or an article, but when we really went in to read the blog or article, that's not really what it's about. And sometimes it's a way for interesting conversation, adult conversation, to make its way into your blogs. So just read something before you repost it. For Facebook, include the posted person and actually for both Facebook and Twitter, include the person you're posting about. And like Ann asked, on Facebook and on Twitter, I just try to put that person's name and link it to them and just share that that's where we got those information from. Yep. So sharing that, just including her name there, Reba. Sometimes if I forget that, I'll add a comment to the blog too, to share that who wrote it. And so if you notice that a lot of times when I write a blog, I'll say my colleague Anne or my colleague Sue, my colleague Reba, it's because I'm automatically typing that in myself. I think we're transitioning. This is the last of our content slides, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
I believe so, yep. So as we're transitioning out of this conversation, just think about what your next steps might be. The first thing is go back into the Getting Started letter, and we can resend that as an attachment. So you can go through the social media steps if you haven't done so. And thinking about along the same lines is what steps would you take to increase your social media presence? And we'll just give everybody a minute to just jot down what are you guys going to do to increase your social media presence? And also, in what ways might we support your goals? I see a lot of people are ramping up their Twitter accounts. Yep, we'll resend the Getting Started letter. Well, I say that, but is that okay, Samantha? A lot of people want to learn how to use Twitter. Actually, NCTE, Reba just had an amazing chat this week on Sunday night. It was so good about writing. It stuck me right in. I didn't want to be on a chat, and I wasn't feeling great, and it stuck me right in.
It's also really great if when you're at an event, you make sure that you keep an eye on that Twitter channel, because you'll see a lot of people live tweeting during a show, during a conference, during an event, and so it gives you sort of another look, another lens to look at that event and to connect with people.
Yes, I definitely do that, and that's true, Reba. Keep an eye on that hashtag as you're going into an event, because sometimes you'll hear about something you didn't know was going to happen, and that's a really great way to do that. Intentionality, Marnie, I love it. Cheryl is also going to get a Facebook account, and it is hard to find time, and so you just have to figure out a way to make that work for each of us. I kind of use it as my way to go to sleep at night. I just flip through Twitter a little bit, see what's going on. But I know sometimes that stimulates people's brains, so I'm not recommending that for everybody. It actually helps me decompress a bit. But thank you guys for sharing in this social media conversation. In our last minute together, we just have a couple of updates, which are on the next slide. And I know that I'm putting Christine on the spot here, but I didn't know if you wanted to share anything additional to what I'm going to share, is that this beginning of the school year has been really unique in the ebb and flow of our professional development work, which has also impacted our consultant days and all the work that we're doing. And just know that we're aware of that. We're doing lots of efforts to think about what kind of professional development offerings we can have and how to engage our educator colleagues. But it has been a odd start to the school year. Christine, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
You know, I don't really have any more information to add, but please keep responding to the events that do come out, and know that you are included on the events. There just haven't been that many to send out. So don't worry that you've been taken off the list somehow.
As you all know, we're ramping up our presentations on consultants.devstu.org. Samantha just did a huge upload. I'm just about done with being a writer. I know Christine's just about done with making meaning. So be aware that it's fresh and clean and very professionally designed. All of our new presentations, and they're there for you at consultants.devstu. Just remember that if you do have questions for us, you can either forward the You're Hired with your question, or make sure you include the record number, the school, the district, the date, and the programs. That helps us in answering any questions that you might have. unfortunately, we don't have all of the details memorized in our heads, so sometimes we have to gather information, and if we have those details, it helps us to gather that information. We're actually going to be sharing with you more information about the Join the Community slide. We realize that slide is very busy, and so I just am really appreciative that Samantha, who also worked with Christine this week, to streamline that slide, so we're getting it finalized, and we'll re-release a cleaner, easier to use Join the Community slide. Sam, do you have anything to add to that?
I will send around the Getting Started letter again with the link so people can that again. And if there's anything you guys need help with, let me know. Will that have the new?
How about Rochelle? How about you? You have anything you want to add?
I do not, but thanks for asking.
Of course. And if we go to the next slide, I'm so excited to share that our next webinar is with Megan Green, who's in the room. Right, Megan?
I can't wait. Please join the program.
Well, and Megan, we are so excited that you're going to be sharing with us. And what we're going to do is we're going to send out the talking points when we send the archive of this webinar out and around after school. If you guys can do some pre-reading and maybe some close reading to get ready for the conversations that Megan's going to have with us. Right, Megan?
Yep, that's a great way to start it.
Yeah, and maybe even explore the after school Facebook page and the after school on DSU.org, DSU.org.
And there's online courses on there for Kids Lit and Kids Math, and there's lots of videos for Kids Science as well. Those are also great ways to sort of start getting into it.
And thank you so much for joining us, Megan. We're excited for that. As you guys can see, the rest of our list is there of our webinars and our chats. Thank you for the extra 3 to 5 minutes. I know that we're cutting into 5 o'clock for East Coast friends. Thank you to everybody for being a part of our chat today. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. We'll stay on for a few minutes. But otherwise, we thank you guys. Thanks for coming on this new Join Me site and enjoying some social media conversations. Can't wait to see you guys virtually.